Hello, everyone. It's now 6:05. I think we gave everybody some time to adjust to our technical difficulties and the different link that went out. Thank you so much for bearing with us. So I'm glad to have you. And welcome to Summer Day Camp. As stated on this slide, please use the Q&A feature to ask your questions. It's monitored and somebody will answer them there. Um, Great to see you all. It's amazing to have so many people join us to go over the things that our team has planned so diligently over the last few weeks and months. And just to jump right in, table of content, we will go over the camp experience, share some of our traditions, introduce you to staff, activities and meals, explain the camp kit, that's important. Camp expectations are equally important, communication, and then we will have the welcome desk and the director of engagement go over payment and registration information. Um, Beautiful slide. These are all kids featured from our programs, and if you take a good look, this features them on all the various activities that we are going to offer them this summer. When you look at the picture with the van, those are the kids that are on site enjoying snails and scales. There's a picture at the aquarium with summer camp t-shirts. Very important to bring those once you have them. And swimming where they have the wristbands where, can everybody hear better? Okay, I'm going to try this. Where everybody wears the wristbands to identify them as a camper. And then we also have activities like bounce houses and water days and fun things like that. This year, we're excited to share and continue to bring to you the experience of a sense of belonging. When your camper attends summer day camp at the Y, they're not just walking away with new friends and skills, they're taking them with them, and a newfound confidence in themselves and a lifetime of summer memories. From songs, games, and character development and friendships, Summer Day Camp at the Y has a little something for everyone. Will you switch to slide, Shells? Thank you. And we're jumping right into the traditions. Some of you might be very familiar with opening and closing ceremonies at camp. These are designed to bring kids together as a whole group of camp versus their family groups and classrooms and age groups. They will be meeting together, discussing what the day is going to hold for them, what the expectations are, what they're going to need, and what activities the counselors have planned for them. They will create their own cheers and summer camp song. And just in general, it's supposed to foster and help them foster a belonging in the summer Y day camp. We're really, really excited. This is our second year to bring you camp mascots. Every camp has their own mascot that is featured on their dog tags. And with that, moving right into dog tags, this is a tradition that we have kind of adapted and taken on from Camp Rogers, our overnight camp, and Mill Hollow, where we celebrate honesty, responsibility, respect, and caring. We also feature the WOW and the camper of the week, and they will also have opportunities to earn camp dog tags for attending a family night. The next thing that is special about traditions that we're continuing this year is the spirit stick. Every camp will have a fun little stick. The one that you see here is actually the one that the Taylorsville camp has put together over years. They get to vote on which camp group is earning the Spirit Stick together and identify why and have a conversation about why they feel that this group for the week has the Spirit Stick. And then the group that earns the Spirit Stick or is voted to have the Spirit Stick gets to decorate and uniquely make it theirs for the week and carry it around camp and make it theirs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Zweigart. I am the Regional Director for the Weber Davis District. So I'm going to introduce you to some of our staff. We have site directors at all of our sites, and so we encourage you to get to know your site director and and if there's any issues or concerns or things along the way, we want you to go ahead and make sure that you're talking directly to your site directors and that you're referencing questions and things from them. They're the ones who are going to be communicating regularly with you. They'll be sending out those newsletters. You'll get those every Thursday. You should be getting your newsletters. If you haven't gotten yours yet, look for it. It's on its way, but I know several of them came out already. The newsletter is really going to be what highlights your kind of camp experience for your specific camp. So this presentation is for all of our camps from Taylorsville all the way up to Ogden. And so there are many families from joining us from the different areas. And so I just want to quickly introduce some of our staff that we have. If you are at the Davis campsite, your site director is Grace Hurst. And if you are at the Heritage Day Camp, it's Julia Gardner. Polk Day Camp is Liz Rogers. And if you are at our family community center in the school age department, so 5 and above, you are with Candace. And Chelsea, will you click the next page real quick so I can introduce the rest of the staff so you guys can put a name with a face? Maybe.
I did. It's just slow. I see it
It's
on
just
my
slow.
screen. It's just
Oh,
slow.
it went backwards. Okay, there we go. So if you are at our Park City Day Camp, your director is Taylor Black. At our Taylorsville site, it's Mason Pappas. Our Ogden preschool, so those are our 3s and our 4-year-olds, it's Heather Schaefer. And our Taylorsville preschool is Carmen Tail. And so all of our staff go through extensive training. In fact, that's what they're all doing this whole week. They have been in training. They are CPR certified, first aid certified. We are licensed centers, so they go through very strict training in regards to our licensing, and all of our sites are inspected regularly by the state to make sure that we are in compliance. We have weekly themes. Those themes will be announced in your newsletter. So if you got your newsletter already for today, you'll notice that next week, if you are enrolled in next week's camp, is Fantasy Fling. There is typically a description in your newsletter, but with examples of activities that will be going on. But basically, Fantasy Fling is anything kind of like fantasy. So I know in the Ogden camps, they're doing a lot of dragons and knights and tales like that. And the field trips will all be linked to that, or the on-site visitors will all be kind of grouped in that theme that you guys have. So each week is a little bit different. You're going to want to pay close attention to those newsletters that arrive the Thursday before. They're going to give you updates on the field trips, the swimming days, things that you need to bring or remember to bring for your child each day, as well as sample activities. If you ever get to camp and you want to see, like, what's the schedule? I don't remember. You can, of course, always ask your site director. But as well, we have what we call parent boards posted at every single camp. And so you can always reference the parent board, and on that you will see a complete list of field trips, schedule. You'll be able to see whatever activities your child is doing for that day. And another thing is you should have received a welcome letter by now to camp. And on the right-hand side of your welcome letter, there are some links to our summer camp pages. So for more information, contact information, as well as field trip calendars. So you can actually look at the whole summer, because if you're anything like me and my kids, we have very busy schedules and you're trying to plan out vacations and you might have to deal with sports and other things. And so you might need to go to lake camp one day or early. And that will allow you the option to kind of see when field trips are, when they're leaving, and when they're returning, and kind of plan your day around those. So take a look at those themes. And again, watch your newsletters for more details about what those themes mean and what's going to be happening in all of those. And these are across the board. So from Park City and Taylorsville all the way up to Ogden, including all of our preschools, these are the themes that we follow for summer camp. And let's see, next page. So this is a sample camp schedule that all of our camps kind of run by. So we open at 7:30 and we close at 6. That does not mean that you need to show up at 7:30 and then pick your child up at 6. We understand schedules are flexible. So you are welcome to drop your child off anytime between 7:30. We ask that our cutoff zone, of course, on field trip days, that will be posted if it's earlier, but is 7:30 to 10:30. If you need to be dropped off, if your child needs to be dropped off later than that, we completely understand. Again, there's lots of schedules, things like swimming, probably in the summer, swimming lessons. So just talk to your site director if you need to drop off after that 10:30 time frame. Otherwise, we ask that you just drop off somewhere between that 7:30 and 10:30 range in the morning, and then pick up roughly between that 4 and 6 range. You can, of course, pick up earlier, but we would love your student to be able to participate in our opening and closing ceremonies. And the opening ceremony starts at 9, closing ceremony is at 4. That's an all camp ceremony that the kids go through. Dog tags are often awarded during that time at the beginning and end of camp, spirit stick, things like that. It's a good thing for your kid and your child to be able to see. And so if you can make sure they're attending those, that is great. If not, have a conversation with your site director. Just let them know you're dropping off late that day or you're picking up really early so we can make arrangements for that. But otherwise, the days are filled with field trips, swimming, there's art, STEM activities. We do a lot of social emotional learning, camp songs, confidence building, friend making, just a lot of fun, adventure. And we're really excited that your camper gets to join us this year. Camp closes. Oh, sorry, I wasn't done yet, but that's okay. Camp closes at 6 o'clock. Just a reminder, make sure that you are picking up by that 6 o'clock mark. If you go to the Davis camp, and again, all of these things are in your newsletter and included in your parent boards at your site. But if you go to Davis camp, Fridays end at 5:30. As you know, our camps are all at locations that we have wonderful partnerships with our school districts and different community members. And so we want to make sure that we're abiding by their policies and their rules too. So closures are really important. You do not want to be past that 6 o'clock mark. Number one, you get charged $2 late minute fee. We don't do that because we want to collect a bunch of money. We do that because we want you to pick up by that 6 o'clock mark, because we promised our partners who are coming in and cleaning and doing that stuff that we would be out by that time. So make sure you are picking up by that 6 o'clock mark. You don't get the late fee, and we help out our partners and our staff go home on time. Okay. These are some information on swim days and field trip days. On your very first swim day, your children will be swim tested, and that's to kind of give them a wristband color and to group them in different areas that they are allowed to go. If you don't have a very good swimmer or a confident swimmer, we're not going to let them go into the deep side of the pool. And so we monitor that. We have an aquatic safety plan for all of our staff, and those students are all swim tested on the first day of their swim field trip. So when you look at your schedule, whatever is your very first day of camp that you're doing swimming, that day they will all be swim tested, and you'll probably see them come home with a wristband that says, I'm in the blue group or pink group, or I think it's yellow and red actually, but So all of those days and location are in your newsletter. And again, on the parent board, you can always reference our website as well. And if you have questions, again, please reach out to your site director. Their contact information is on the newsletter, and it'll be on the front door of the location as well. And so we want to make sure that you are reaching out to them with questions or concerns. Don't feel shy to reach out to them. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you and make sure that you guys feel comfortable and that your children have the appropriate care that they need. Just so that you are aware, we do not have alternate care for days where kids are going swimming or on field trips. They have to show up by the designated bus leaving time, which is in your newsletter, and they go on the field trip. Even if they don't want to swim, we're not going to force them to swim. But they do have to go on the field trip if they're at camp that day. We don't have any counselors that will be left behind to care for those students on non-swim days. We need those eyes on the pool and on your students to keep them safe. So they are all in attendance those days. No care, alternative care on those days. Every child that attends camp gets a camp t-shirt. And they will be required to wear those camp t-shirts on their field trip day. We will send out text reminders to make sure your kids have those t-shirts on their camp day. But if you can do your part, help us out by getting them to wear their t-shirt. They're also going to have a bracelet on that states they are part of YMCA camp. That is just all safety procedures that we follow. Again, we follow for licensing and for safety of your children. So you'll want to make sure that they have that on for field trip day. Otherwise, they're going to get a loaner one if they don't bring it back. So if you're scheduled for multiple camps, they need to wear it for every field trip. Otherwise, they're going to get one that is a loaner t-shirt, and they probably won't like that very much. So make sure that their camp t-shirt's washed and ready to go. Make sure also that you're arriving on time for the field trip departure time. That is in your newsletter. You'll be texted that information as a reminder as well. We just want to make sure you are there on time. You don't want to be chasing that bus, especially if you've got to get off to other things that day. For drop off or pickup at the field trip, we have had that happen in the past. If you've got other sports or things that you're doing and you need to come late, you can arrange with your site director to drop off at the field trip. That has to be done in advance. We don't want you calling them while they're in a bus full of kids trying to get them to the zoo, telling them that you're going to come drop off. You need to make sure you're doing that in advance if you need to drop off or pick up at the field trip site. And then field trips are for our day campers. Preschool will just be doing on-site field trips, meaning that we have presenters coming in to bring in animals and different things like that and present to our students. Meals and snacks. Is this still me, Rhonda?
That's me. No,
Okay, good.
it's me. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Rhonda Clark, and I am the regional director in our Salt Lake region. So meals and snacks. We are going to be offering a daily nutritious snack. They are in accordance with our USDA nutrition guidelines. So they're going to be getting fruits and veggies, grains, dairy, all those healthy things. The only exception on this one is our Davis location doesn't have an afternoon snack, but all of the ones that you can see on the slide here that have the Y, that is where we're providing lunch and snacks. As a note, the YMCA does not provide foods that contain trans fat or foods that are high in sugar. So we also ask that if parents are bringing food from home, that they try to follow our guidelines as well and just really keep their lunches or snacks from home as healthy as you possibly can. And then one note, this goes for campers and for staff. We do not allow energy drinks of any kind. So if we see the energy drinks are brought, we'll just put those off to the side and give them a different option for a drink, and we'll give those drinks back to you at the end of the day. All right, fun stuff, health and safety. So we do help out families that their child needs to have medication during camp. We ask that, first of all, you complete our medication form, which we will have available at all of our locations. And then once you've got that form filled out for us, we just need to make sure that the medication is in its original container. So even if it's an over-the-counter, like Tylenol or something like that, it can't come in a baggie. It will need to come in the original container. And then when you fill out that medication form, you can let us know that the dosage that your child needs to take. One area in this that does come tricky every summer is especially with inhalers, because you do take that medicine out of the box and put it into its little inhaler thing, and sometimes that does not have the prescription on it. So please make sure if you're bringing inhalers that we have the prescription somewhere with that inhaler, just so that we're in compliance with our licensing. The parent and guardian is responsible for ensuring that their registration is always up to date. If anything changes with your address, your phone number, anything like that, we really just need you to let our welcome desk staff know so that they can update your registration. And another part of that that's really important is making sure that if your child has any food allergies or sensitivities to food, that that is in your registration, so that we can let all the staff know to, be aware of those allergies and things like that. Also, with those allergies and food sensitivities, we really try to be very accommodating with those. But if it is something that we can't feasibly address, we'll have that conversation with you and ask you to provide the snacks that we're not able to provide for those things. And then just keep in mind that we do have a lot of allergies, not only peanut, but coconut. So we're just, in our community family centers, we are nut free. And on the schedules, you'll see that we have plenty of water breaks in our schedules, just to make sure that the kids are staying hydrated all throughout the day. And then into safety ratios, the childcare licensing state ratios in this age group, which is the 5-year-olds up to the 12-year-olds, is 1 to 20. To stay on the cautious side with safety, the YMCA does try to follow a 1 to 15 ratio for the older kids and a 1 to 10 ratio with the younger kids. We do our very best to try to keep age groups that are similar together throughout the majority of the day. You will see in the morning drop off and the afternoon pickup, like we've combined age groups. So we may have some of our younger kids in groups with older kids, but that is for a very short amount of time, usually just like I said at the beginning and the end of the day. Incident reports will be completed for incidents, accidents, behavior, all of those things. And so once those are completed by the staff members, they do go to the directors. The directors look over those, make sure they're good, and then they are emailed to parents. So if your child has anything happen at camp, more than likely you're going to hear it from the staff member first, and they'll have those conversations with you, and then you will get the report emailed to you. Childcare licensing, we follow childcare licensing rules. Like Stephanie had mentioned just a little bit ago, our staff has had about 2 hours of training in this area just in this week. So they are ready for all those things that could come up. But just as a side note, parents also have the ability to go on to the child care licensing website and look at any of the rules for clarification, or if you're curious, you can do that as well. And that is childcarelicensing.utah.gov. The camp kit is kind of all there. So these are the things that your child is going to need mostly on a daily basis, especially the water bottle, the hat, the sunscreen. We ask that the sunscreen is a spray rather than the lotion. It's just easier for the kids to put on themselves and for staff to help them put on more regularly than trying to, put the lotion on. And in the backpack, it's always great to have a change of clothes. Kids' work is play, and they get messy, they get wet, and that way, if they have a change of clothes in their backpack, then we do not have to call parents to bring a change of clothes. So that is one thing that's not on here that I think would be a great idea to add. And then the towel and the field trip shirt, they don't need those every day. They need those on their assigned days that they're going swimming and a field trip. But if you do leave them in their bag, then you don't have to worry about forgetting it on those days. All right, expectations and behavior. So these 4 things that you see there, the caring, the respect, the honesty, the responsibility, those are the 4 core values of the YMCA. So our behavior expectations are centered around those things. I'm going to tell you a few behaviors that, we've experienced in the past, and just so that you're aware of how we may handle those. So there is the chance that students could be put on a behavior contract or maybe even sent home for the following behaviors. Violent behaviors such as kicking, scratching, biting, or in any way physically hitting another counselor, another camper, or destroying any property. That isn't just YMCA property, that could be property on a field trip or property at a swimming pool. Running away from the programs or the counselors could also be something else that would cause us to put a student on a behavior contract. Using foul language, sexually explicit language, or violent threats towards other campers or counselors. And this includes any type of bullying or threatening, somebody else in camp. Theft of property belonging to the YMCA, any place that we may visit for a field trip or swim, would also possibly get your child put on a behavior contract. And sorry, there's a couple others, just including physical violence or refusal to follow directions. So communication, we've kind of already gone over this a couple of times throughout this, but you should already have your welcome letters. This is like site specific information. And then you're going to get your newsletters. Those will be the Thursday before each week. Some of the things that are in there are field trips, swims, activities, awards, invitations for parents to come join us. All of those things will be in there. And then if it is your child's day to go on a field trip or swimming, you should get a text the day of reminding you that it is their day to do that. On Fridays, you are going to get emailed a survey. And if your kid is in camp all summer, you may get really tired of these surveys every Friday, but they are really important in helping us know how we're doing, how we can improve, and how we can meet the needs of all of our families that are in camp. And then anytime that you have any concerns, you are welcome to call. You can call the front desk staff, the welcome desk staff, and they can get you in contact with a site director if you need to. And also, when you're picking up, if you need to talk to a camp counselor, a coordinator, or a director, please feel free to do that. Ask to meet with them privately to discuss anything that you would want to discuss in person as well.
All right. I'm Chelsea, and I'm the Director of Engagement, and I get to work with the Welcome Desk representatives. They are the folks that answer the phones and emails from all of you. I just wanted to drop in a couple reminders. All of these reminders are on your welcome letters and your newsletters and plastered on our website, but our payments are due the Monday before each session. So for next week, you would have paid this last Monday. We do send follow-up texts, emails, and phone calls regarding any payments that are past due, and we withdraw by Wednesday. So that would have happened yesterday for anybody that was not able to get their payment in. We do understand sometimes that, payments and payment schedules don't go through. So please do give the welcome desk a call if you need, a bi-weekly payment arrangement or need something worked out so that we can support you on that. We prefer communication more than no communication at all. Another reminder, deposits are non-refundable and non-transferable. So if you have reserved a week of camp and need to cancel that week, we do not provide that deposit back to you once you cancel. And then if you are withdrawn due to non-payment, which, can happen, you basically lose that deposit. If you want to re-enroll, and if there is space available, sometimes we have a wait list, you basically have to pay that $20 back. Again, it's kind of basically a penalty for that. And that's only if space is available. We also do not allow week of registration. So if you forgot to enroll or forgot to make your payment, if you walk in Monday morning wanting to snag a spot, it's unfortunately not going to happen. So just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. And I know also, as mentioned, we do have our $2 per minute per child late pickup fee. It will be due immediately. So we just charge the card on file whenever we get that. It leads into registration reminders. Registration closes the Wednesday before. It's the same with cancellation. So yesterday would have been the day to register for next week as well as cancel for next week. And again, no week of registrations. If you have any updates to the registration information that you have filled out, then the welcome desk is the best place to call. So if you have a change in allergies or a change in payment method or even phone number, it is your responsibility to let us know of those changes. All right. Let me go forward here instead of backwards. That's pretty much it from us. We're going to go into our Q&A session. I know I've been answering some questions here in both the chat and the Q&A, but I definitely want to put up here on the wall or on your screen our mainline phone number, the 801-466-6299. That is the number you'll want to call. You can also submit a request that's available on our website. There's a link on our website, or just email welcome desk YMCA Utah. So what I'm going to do is just go through any of the questions that have been left unanswered or anything that I know I couldn't answer, and kind of go through those. So one of the first questions that pops up, and this can be for pretty much any director, talking about food menus. Are those available? Where can parents look for those?
Yeah, we do post food menus, and they'll be posted on the parent board, and that comes directly from the school. So the sites that are providing lunch are doing so because we're in collaboration with the school district, and the school district is actually coming in and providing that lunch for your students. And so they're the ones who come up with the menu. It would be very similar to if you're in the Ogden School District and you have Ogden lunches, or Weber School District and have the Weber School lunches. It will follow one of those menus because it is the same employees with Ogden that do that. So those are the lunches, and they will be posted on the parent board. We don't have those yet because they have to come directly from the school.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. So some of them are also available on that school's website, more than just the board. Another question that came in regarding sunscreen. So we are supposed to put the sunscreen on before we go outside. But if you can, parents put the first layer on at home, that kind of makes things better. But we did get a couple questions, just making sure, how do we prevent dehydration and sunburn? So can anybody talk about like just other than schedules, like what can we do on site to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, so they do have water breaks within our thing. We encourage drinking water. We of course can't force your kids to drink it, but we can say, hey, it's time for a water break. Take a drink of water. And so that is what the counselors do. They stress the importance of that. Any like field trips, swimming, time outside, they're going to do a reapplication of sunscreen, but please, please, please start it in the morning. Come with your sunscreen on. That really helps get that first layer, because that second one won't come till the afternoon. So make sure that they do have that on. But like swimming days, they'll go ahead and get that sunscreen on before they go.
Awesome. A couple questions came in about, menus and food still. Your welcome letters and your newsletters will indicate what time your breakfast, lunch, and snacks are at. So if you have questions regarding, when can I drop off so that my kid can eat breakfast, that will be in your newsletter, because every site, our Polk campus has a cafeteria on site and they may be serving breakfast at a specific time. So that's all in your newsletter with the schedule breakdown of those times. Another question came in, I'll just answer it live instead of typing it out, is if you're packing a lunch and you'd like to pack a peanut butter and jelly, our community family centers are the only sites that are peanut free. So the other ones you can pack. So our Davis and Park City camp, you can pack those. And yes, Taylorsville does offer breakfast. Another question that came in, Rhonda, I think this would be a great one for you to answer. Chaperones for field trips, is that something that we offer?
Yes. If the parent wants to talk to the site director about going with us on any of the field trips, we would be more than happy to have parents join us. They just will need to wear a guest badge and come be our guest on a field trip. But I would definitely talk to the site director and just work that out and make sure that they have space on the bus that is going.
Awesome. We did get a few questions regarding some families that may not have gotten their welcome letter or their first newsletter yet. Please call the welcome desk number tomorrow morning or send them a text. You can call or text that number, and maybe we either need to verify your email that we have on file just to make sure we have it. You can also check your spam folder. They go there sometimes as well. The next thing is we do send, as mentioned during the communication slide, we will send day of text messages saying today is a field trip, today is a swim day, today is movie day. And we will also be sending a text saying, by the way, here is your newsletter for the week if you didn't get the email, and we'll link it on that text message. So you'll get as much communication as we can possibly offer. A couple questions came in regarding financial aid and payments. At this point, it is a little bit too late to apply for financial aid. Our policy does indicate 30 days before. Camp does start on Monday. But if you are looking for assistance, you can apply through the Department of Workforce Services, and they do provide a child care subsidy to help cover the cost of our programs. And they probably will cover way more than we can. So if you are interested in support for your tuition or your weekly fees of camp, the Department of Workforce Services is the best place to go. If you have questions regarding that application process, again, reach out to the welcome desk and we can help you through that. As far as how you pay, we do send a text, a call, and an email invoice. You can also log into your parent portal, basically how you registered, log in, and you can pay there. I'm just scrolling through the questions to see what else we have left. Someone asked regarding a child going into kindergarten but is registered in preschool camp. Are they going on any field trips with the older kids? Stephanie, I think, would you like to answer that one?
Yeah, so if they're registered, it depends on how you registered them. So if you registered the Rising Kinder, meaning they're going into kindergarten for the school age camp, they will attend field trips and swim days. If you registered them for the preschool camp, they will do the on-site field trips, so not traveling on the bus, and they will do water days at the site. And that's for like Ogden, the Ogden area, if the preschool. Taylorsville, and Rhonda, do you want to answer that one for yours? Because I know yours. No, okay, same.
So I apologize. I was dealing with another question and I did not hear that question.
Your preschoolers, if the child is registered in preschool, will they be leaving the site at all?
They will not. If they did, it would just be a walking field trip in the neighborhood, and the parents would then, once it was like all put together, the parents would sign a form knowing that they were going, but they're not going to be transporting in vans or buses.
Awesome, thank you. I know we've thrown out the words welcome desk. Looks like someone had a question regarding what that even is. So our welcome desk team, they're also introduced in your welcome letters and your newsletters. But welcome desk is, they're just a group of people that sit at the front desk at our community family centers, and their whole focus to make sure that you feel welcomed and supported in the Y experience as a parent. They help you with registration, financial aid payments, and applications to the Department of Workforce Services. So there is a physical place on site at our community family centers, but also you can call them, text them, or email them at the phone numbers and emails on the website or on the screen right here.
Somebody asked about the peanut butter policy again. So you are allowed to bring peanut butter sandwiches to any of our sites except for the CFC. So if you are registered at the Community Family Center in Ogden or the Community Family Center in Taylorsville, there are no peanuts. All the other sites, you can have peanut sandwiches.
There also was a question regarding bringing sports drinks, Gatorade, and stuff like that. We are at our partner sites. Red Gatorade stains the carpet terribly fast. So if at all costs, please avoid it. We will put the drink up for your child and encourage them to drink water, just simply because it's not a joy to get that out of carpets, and our partners did ask for, the courtesy of not bringing anything that stains or does damage to carpets or furniture.
All right. We did have a question regarding basically child behavior, like if they have ADHD or autism, like how do they make sure that they're connected? And my guess is reaching out to that site director before camp, or even at drop off, you can talk to them, but before camp might be the best option. And it was included in your registration when you filled it out. And so they've probably looked at it already. But if that is a concern of yours, definitely reach out to the contact information on your welcome letter to get connected to your site director and talk about any kind of strategies or tactics you can use to help support your camper at camp. Do we need to send children in their swimsuits on swim days? And do they need to pack extra dry clothes just in case?
Definitely pack dry clothes, like Rhonda said. My suggestion for swim days is check out the time that your child is going swimming. If they're not going swimming till 11:45, they might be really uncomfortable from, if you're dropped off at 7:30 in the morning in their swimsuit. There will be time allocated for them to change in the locker rooms. And there are in all the pools, like closed off areas that they can go in and change in the locker rooms. So that is an option. We also have restrooms with stalls at our sites, and they can change there as well in those locked stalls. So private location to change. So there is that option. Definitely bring dry clothes, but it's up to you if you want to send them into your suit. I would look at their field trip time and really make that decision based on you and your child.
Few questions. Those who have gotten your welcome letter and your newsletter, there should be a phone number on your newsletter and welcome letter. If you didn't see it, reach out to the welcome desk. We have a list of those numbers and we can get those to you. Also, they will be posted on that parent board on the on site. So when you drop off on Monday or whatever your first week of camp is, put that number in your phone and just call it YMCA Polk Camp, whatever you need to call it. And kids, yes, can bring a backpack for sunscreen. We, in fact, encourage it. Nobody wants to carry sunscreen, a water bottle, and a swimsuit and a towel. If you are waiting on answers for financial aid, that's another question that came in. Please reach out and follow up with us. Sometimes, we ask for extra documentation and just don't get it in sometimes, or things kind of get lost in the inbox. So please reach out again. Let's see. Oh,
There's
a great
a question.
question. Go
Sorry.
ahead, Stephanie.
I was going
Go
to say
ahead.
there's a question about past July 28th. So we do have availability we do have camp at our CFCs until right up till school starts. We partner with our districts, obviously, at our schools to have camp, and they have a cutoff zone. So if your camp stopped, like at Polk or Heritage, the reason for that is the school needed to go in and paint and recarpet and do all the things that they do to prepare for the school year for the students. So they don't allow summer camps during those weeks. We do have an option, but limited, at our CFCs. So check into doing one of either the Ogden or the Taylorsville CFC if you need care those last 2 weeks of school. We realize that you have work and that school hasn't started yet. We just don't always have that availability space because our partners need that area.
Awesome. Just looking through the next few questions regarding pickup and drop off. There will be signage with arrows on site, and it will be included in your first newsletter. Let's see here. I answered the question about Park City. All right, I don't see, let me just click one more window and see what we've got coming in. There was a question regarding swimsuit assistance. So I don't know if I can answer that question, but how we can help someone get their swimsuit on and off. My guess is no. But can anybody else talk to that specific point?
So for school-age children, we would not be able to assist them in that because that would be requiring going into a private area with them to help them undress, and we would not be allowed to do that. If we were helping preschoolers, that would be different, but once they have hit that 5 years of age, they have the right to their privacy.
All right. We did have a question regarding, who do you contact if your child would be absent? It'll just be your site director. If you know that they're going to be absent that day or late the next day, like maybe they have swim lessons, or maybe they're going to one of our overnight camps for a mini camp session. Just let your site director know, just saying, hey, they'll be late on Tuesday, or they'll be absent tomorrow, or you can call them the day of and let them know. If you text or call the main line, we'll give them the message. So either way, we'll make sure it gets to your site person. A question regarding paying for camp. If you have paid and then you cancel, if you cancel the Wednesday before, you can take those funds that you already paid and move them to a future week. But basically, you get an account credit. You don't get a refund just because summer moves pretty fast, and before you know it, you'll have to pay for camp another week. So if you cancel the Wednesday before, minus your deposit, you can move that payment you've made to a future week. But if you cancel on Thursday, so if you cancel today, you would not get anything back. It's just we got to have our lists and our supplies and our numbers. A question came in about those Gabb watches. Would anybody like to talk about? I know we said no technology or phones. My understanding is they just have to be silenced and cannot be a distraction. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So if they wear them, that's perfectly acceptable. We just ask that you silence them like you would during the school day so that so that they're not making phone calls, to grandma and grandpa during the middle of camp just because they wanted to talk to them and they missed them. So if you can silence them, that would help our counselors out a lot. But you can still wear them.
All right. For those who have not gotten their newsletter but got their welcome letter, this week was a short week. We had to smash 5 days of work into 4 days, but we also got a 3-day weekend. So some of those may come tomorrow. So just keep an eye out. We're just a tiny bit behind with, getting those out. And then you should see those come in tomorrow. But again, we will also send a text blast on Sunday with the newsletter as well.
And
All right.
breakfast, just so someone had a quick question about what time is breakfast served. It's different for each site. It typically is around the 8:30 mark, but each site will be a little bit different based on, again, the school does the lunching or, so we have partners that we work with in a lot of that.
All right. And there was a question regarding an older sibling helping a younger sibling with the swimsuit if they go swimming at the same time. There are a couple camps where the age groups go at different times of the day, like our Taylorsville camp and our Park City camp. They may be split just for grouping purposes. Let's see. If there is no future week, then you can request a refund. If you cancel on time, your refund request has to be received to the welcome desk within 14 days of cancellation. And that goes through a director. Adventure camps, what time they leave for field trips. Generally, it's 9 to 4 is your adventure camp field trip window. All of that will be on your first newsletter. Just scrolling through here. Sorry, guys. You guys have lots of questions, which is great. Ogden Community Family Center does breakfast. It is provided by the school. Breakfast schedules are provided on your newsletter. I don't know the exact time. And if you need auto pay set up, please contact the welcome desk. In fact, it is our policy to be on auto pay. Okay. Question, for sites that meals are provided, do the parents have to provide a packed lunch for a field trip, or is that provided by the Y? Does anybody have the answer to that? So if you're at the community family center and lunch is provided by us and they're on a field trip, who provides that lunch?
Yeah, I can speak to Ogden and I'll let Rhonda speak to Taylorsville and Katia to Park City. So for Ogden, lunch for the 3 Ogden sites, Polk, Heritage, and the CFC are provided on some field trips, and this will be included in your newsletter. It's also, if you click on your field trip calendars, it also states it there. As long as the school is operating, the elementary school is operating, the lunch will be provided even on a field trip because they'll pack it up ahead of time and we'll do sack lunches. The only time that it's not is when the school doesn't operate, is closed for a holiday. So that would be the 19th, right, Chelsea? The 19th.
They're
Yes.
close to 7th.
The 17th is Davis.
Yes.
The 19th is Ogden, and then the 24th. So those 2 holidays, they don't operate. We will have parents pack a lunch, and you will be given plenty of notice for that, for those lunch packings. Great question.
All right.
So for Taylorsville on that, if we are gone on a field trip during the lunchtime, we will have lunch provided for the kids. It won't be anything that the parents will have to provide.
And for Park City, you pack your lunch every day, so we'll just grab the lunch box and go on those days.
And those lunches, I do recommend, there's not a lot of fridge space. So if it requires cooling, you can put an ice pack inside that lunch bag. I know I do it for my child's lunch every day. It's just a little bit helpful instead of trying to track that down. All right, so our questions have kind of slowed down a little bit, but I will say that if you still have remaining questions or if your question was not answered, the welcome desk is your best option. Don't worry, I've warned them that they will get flooded with questions tomorrow. So please reach out. You can call the number on the screen or text it. Text it can also be useful. So that way, you know, we can write your answers to you and you have record of what they said. You can email them at welcomedesk@ymcautah.org. And all of that information is in your newsletters and your welcome letters. We hope we recorded this. I hope I did press record. If not, all of this information is included on your parent packets, on your welcome letters, on the FAQs, on the newsletters. So none of this information that we're sharing with you tonight is nothing that would not have been written down or shared previously, but we will plan to share the slides, and all of the other resources are in like the parent packet and FAQs. They're all in your welcome letters and newsletters. Thank you everyone for being flexible as we changed our link at the very last minute. I was on the call for an hour with tech support, so thank you everybody. And we hope to have a great summer with all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope you have a good evening. Thank you.